So yesterday was an absolutely mammoth day for me. I had so many breakthroughs in Claude Code, and I feel like I got 2 weeks worth of work done in a single day. And I'm not really saying that to brag, it's just the reality of this AI forward world we're living in. So I put together this retrospective and I figured I'd walk you through my day. I start every day in Claude Code and I have it connected to Obsidian. This guy named Karpathy put out this self-updating second brain that I've been working off kind of a modified version of for the last few months. I've got this process that runs every morning that goes back through the previous day's meeting transcripts, analyzes them, distributes them all throughout the vault, updates client files, people files, strategy files, to-do items. It sends signals into my CRM. It pulls principles out of all the notes, documents them, and sets up my whole day forward in this kind of CEO focused way that keeps me pointed at my stated goals. Anyway, I've had it in my backlog to hook up Claude Code to my WordPress site since a while ago WordPress came out with a native connection. I've been wanting to get to it. So it walked me through getting this set up and it was pretty straightforward. And one of the first things that I wanted to do was to do like a full audit of every single URL across my site. I gave it all the very specific things that I wanted to know, and I kind of immediately hit a wall because it wasn't able to get at all the rank math data. So Claude proactively offered to write a plugin that could solve that problem for me. So we did exactly that. It coded up a plugin and I ran it through a bunch of safety and best practice checks, set it up on my website, and that was solved. Keep in mind, I am not a coder. Anyway, once it was up and running, it started surfacing all this stuff I wasn't even asking for. There were a few spelling mistakes on the live site, there was a blog post that didn't have a category, and there was a duplicate meta description on my co-founder's profile page, which is super embarrassing. And it didn't just flag all this stuff, it surfaced options for how to handle it where I could basically sit back, use my judgment and say, yeah, do number 2, and it just did it. Done. It was freaking great. And that whole scan, by the way, is like a massive undertaking. It had to send out a whole swarm full of agents, pulling down all the info, writing executive summaries for every single URL on our site, and basically just building this knowledge graph that can exist in the vault that we can do all sorts of things with moving forward. One of the first obvious things I wanted to do was to come up with some kind of priority list for content that needed updating because of quality or brand misalignment, etc. And because Claude is connected to Ahrefs and PKI and Google Search Console, when it's doing this, it's referencing real actual data. So while it's doing that, in the middle of it, it kind of surfaced this thing and said, hey, there's a real opportunity here with this customer acquisition cost article that you have that seems like a real opportunity. Would you like to dive deeper into it? The content's generic, but the data seems like it's a real opportunity. So do we want to like start a little side quest to work on this? So I kicked off some competitive analysis and looking at search intent and doing all this stuff to see how it compares to our brand DNA, where the white space is, and if there's anything we can actually offer the world that doesn't already exist. And there wasn't an actual calculator in the SERP. So while everything else is running, we kick off this project to upgrade the content on the page and build this kind of custom calculator that can exist at the top that will really fulfill the search intent. And of course, the whole time that we're doing this, I'm iterating with my own human judgment, pushing to make things better, keeping it on brand visually and on voice, etc. And while I'm doing that, I started pulling our own brand guidelines into the corpus that I had been previously working in Claude projects up in chat. This way, any future work that I do going forward is going to have like quality reference material to work against. So I got this piece fully written with now a custom calculator from thought to live on the site in a pretty short amount of time. I didn't have to send it through Asana. I saw an opportunity, worked on it, shipped it, it's now live, done. All that in parallel of everything else I have going on. And it didn't stop there. The same process that's going on in the background surfaced this SEO website design article. Another high priority opportunity, so I kicked that off as well. So over the last year or so, I've been working off these playbooks, and I use this opportunity as a way to strengthen and make that particular process better while I'm doing it. I ended up fanning out this process into 6 kind of discrete steps. So the deep dive of the current piece, deep research on the search intent and the competitive analysis. Then I had it go through and mine the Obsidian Vault to look for any opportunities in the corpus that we could actually strengthen this article through all the transcripts that I had and thoughts that I've been having over the last few months. Then put together a strategic brief and then move on to the actual writing of it, and then the whole process of pushing it through live to the site. Updating title tags, swapping out the content, being careful of any images that are already in place, doing all the internal linking inward and out, adjusting the publish date, all that stuff. And out of all that, I have a second upgraded article with a much improved system live launched today. And again, that's on top of all the stuff that's going on in parallel in the background. Another thing I had going on in the background is we had recently launched these kind of 4-pillar pages, and I went through an internal linking process across the entire blog to get them pointing at these main pillar pages, which also finished around this same time. And this entire time I'm giving feedback, and it's offering to upgrade rules and skills that I already have in place. And every little improvement that's being made is actually durable and being kind of upgraded in real time. I make the corrections and it's essentially learning me. So many barriers are just coming down in this process. It's amazing. Also, by the way, during all this, I am typing nothing. I haven't really typed anything in 6 months to a year, and I'm just talking directly to Claude. I use this tool called Whisperflow that turns voice into text and allows me to basically work at the speed of thought instead of the speed of my slow-ass fingers. So I've never have a shortage of ideas. It's really just a shortage of time to actually execute. And yesterday just felt like a real leap forward in that gap from I have an idea to I have an idea, it's actually live, and the system's better because of it. And at the end of the day, I kicked off this whole gigantic batch of work to keep mapping the content strategy, to put together the entire internal linking graph of the existing site, and to start doing some keyword research in PKI and Ahrefs to kind of set up my next moves. And I woke up this morning to a pile of work done with a bunch of questions requiring my judgment to just pick up right where I left off. It's so freaking incredible. So I am a super busy CEO. I'm not a developer. I'm not an expert in all these things. And yet with these tools, man, the more that you use them, the more that you experiment with them, the more you get to redefine what your ceiling actually is. So anyhow, that was my day.